Hello, I'm Joyce from Salubrious Events, and I have here with me the wonderful Uluki Murray from the Waa-Wurrung tribe of the Yarra Valley, Upper Yarra Valley Raven tribe, King of the Raven tribe. And we are here today. There's something very special that Uluki wants to share with us about the Black Pearl. So did you want to start with what is the Black Pearl?
A black pearl is an item that ties in a spiritual creation to physical humanity. And I guess it's been like many beautiful good ideas over time the world has taken something and made it fictional.
Okay.
So a lot of the things that's happening in our world, whether people call it mythology or I guess history and mythology is one the same. So all of the creatures of myth are actually factual history, not myths. So the Black Pearl is an item that contains the spiritual creation of humanity, but what it doesn't have is the physical creation, because the world still needs to have mystery. Without mystery, there's really no point in what's going on. Without a mystery to keep us spiritually excited or spiritually on a quest for the next big thing, next big mystery.
Right, so we're motivated by some sort of quest or trying to unravel some sort of, trying to get answers. And
Yeah.
we're
A
very
big mystery
motivated.
motivates ascendancy. And because once you get to a certain level of knowledge, right, if we were to have water knowledge today that leads to ascension, I'm not sure if ascension is worth it then. If others haven't sort of worked to get that and been on their own path to get their own ideas of ascension. Because most people have their own idea of ascension, spirituality, religion, and all different. Well, basically everyone's got their own idea of life and the world around us,
Yes.
which is okay. But in our world there's an ordinance and a hierarchy. And we've applied it for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years here.
Okay.
And it's kept this place intact for all that time, those laws.
Okay. So there's an order to things. There's an intelligent order, or keeps the. Otherwise, there's chaos.
Yes. And it's all to do with vibration and frequency. And the words are not just words in our culture. We get in a lot of trouble for saying the wrong thing. Like we used to, but things have gotten a bit funny in the last couple of decades. But in the end of the day, I think people need to be mindful of what they're saying, and more importantly, be mindful of how they're saying it, putting your frequency and tone into it, and negate or negativity the words.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it too.
True. Very true.
And we've been in big trouble for saying things like that
Yes.
in the old days, where now people just don't. They don't really care about what they're saying or how they're saying it.
Yes.
They just feel they have a right to say it, regardless of whether it's true, factual, good or bad. None of that applies. People just feel they got a right to say something. No matter how stupid it is, they'll say it.
Okay. I guess there's two things there. One is words carry frequencies, so the words has a certain vibration. So, I guess what you're saying is that we need to be more mindful of the words that we use because of the vibration and the intent.
Yeah, of course. Like I'm dealing with people at the moment who hate so much. And they say it every 10 minutes, I hate. hate.
Oh.
And I've had this guy, listen, I'm not going to come and talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
It's not that they're evil people, it's that they're ignorant people.
Okay.
You know, ignorance isn't evil. People think it is. It's not. Ignorance is just a lack of knowing or a lack of knowledge. Or lack of how to apply that knowledge.
Yes.
So, if you constantly say the word I hate, you're going to hate. And the thing is that the world's changing, people are getting more spiritual, more heartfelt, and the more people get in contact with their own spirituality, the less they're going to want to be speaking to haters. So haters are going to be left alone to dwindle and die alone.
Yeah.
Fade out and not be part of anyone's circles or friendship circles and things like that. And I'm seeing that in a lot of older generation, not just older generation, younger generation people too, that they won't listen to that. Like, I say, listen, you shouldn't speak hate. But I said, if you continue to do that, I'm going to have to sort of withdraw myself. I didn't live and suffer for the love of humans to be constantly hate.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to be disassociated a bit. I love you, but good luck.
Okay. Sure.
We have to discern. In fact, we have to judge each other.
Yeah.
People say we shouldn't judge each other. No, we should. Who else is going to judge us?
Yes.
The system? No, I don't. No. Religion? No. No one's going to judge us except each other on a human level.
Yes. But so judging does it come back to the intent? So you're judging other people, but I guess does it come back to the intent of you want to judge other people, I guess, to keep them, well, just to ask them what the truth, is it like for the truth? Is it for, have they got the well-being of other people in mind?
Yes. Well, I think as soon as something harms you innocent, that's the moment we jump in and judge and hit them hard. And anything above that sort of open, then it becomes adults having consensual conversations. But if someone's innocent and they become a bit of a victim of someone else's hate, then we must intervene and judge. Judge everything, even the innocent. Ask them, hey, what's going on? What led to this?
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't nothing to provoke this? Good. You, come here. If no one else is going to tell you, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's what's been outlawed by the political correctness crews who've come in and done so much damage to the psyche of young people. They're afraid to speak their own hearts and minds. But we just let it all out. Just speak freely.
As if there's, no thought about the consequences or the consideration.
The thing about free speech and speaking freely is what happens is at least it shows people your intent. Instead of hiding your intent.
Yes.
You're sitting there saying blah 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 and really you mean blue 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 blue.
Yeah.
You're hiding and masking your true intent, and that was outlawed in our culture. That was a crime. Now you be you, don't be someone else. Otherwise you're going to get punished. So a lot can be learned about these savages in this land. That was written about. But getting back to that, the black pearl, inside that item is certain stories that dictate our spiritual creation. It's like anything else, things begin with an idea and then progress to the table and then progress to reality.
Yeah, Uluki, the black pearl, what's the story about the black pearl?
Well, in our dreaming story here, one of the old terms of a teacher who taught me, who was one of our earlier researchers, spoke about the octopus dreaming, or the octopus of the dream. And what it goes back to is I was able to understand and teach myself how to regress for our DNA in our blood. Our blood and our DNA has ancient codes in it. And if you can unlock them codes and follow all the way back through, you can get to certain points in time to understand the past and touch on the past through the recorded history, which is in your blood. And mainly in your heart, because the heart is, to me, is the base of your DNA. But
why is the heart so important? What's so special about? Is it the actual organ, or is it more the etheric heart?
It's one of those. It's its own entity. The heart is separate to, I believe, to the rest of the body in many ways. Yet without it, we're nothing. So there's still that teaches people there's no separation between us, the environment, between others, and the universe around us. So, because the heart is more neurons than the brain, that's why he remembers to beat, pump, that you haven't a tongue. But if it was up to humans to tell the heart to beat every time it moves, beat, there's not going to be many people around. If you've got to consciously tell your heart to beat. That's why it has its own brain. It is its own brain. It's its own entity as a whole, pumping the ancient blood through us all.
Yes.
For the purpose.
The DNA, like the DNA's in the blood?
Yeah, and the flesh, the bone, the hair, even in the toe as well. A lot of people don't realise there's a lot in the sound of your voice, where it sits on the spectrum. The black pearl is full of history, like a recorded history, like a black box recorder on a plane. But you've only allowed me to look in, and the ancient spirits or our ancestors that put it inside me only let me see little bits and pieces, because they're the ones who told me, they said there still needs to be mystery. The whole universe still needs mystery. So there won't be this great, fully enlightened, know everything idea just come on us one day, because then what? We need a little bit of mystery to carry on, keep looking for the next higher existence, I guess. And there's plenty of high existences to go through out there, from this plane to higher planes, and one of the black pearl was inside it is a story about the creation to do with our Pleiadian creator.
Can you tell us more about that, the Pleiadian creator?
In our story, in the Raven tribe story, the world was created by 9 serpents, and 7 serpents were 7 rainbow serpents, and on the exterior of those rainbow serpents, the 7 of them, was a black serpent and a white serpent. And the white serpent was innocence and purity. And the black serpent was everything. Not to say it wasn't innocent, but it was everything. And people say, what do you mean everything? I said, it was everything. Because it contained everything that went near it got absorbed into its radiation field. So that's what black does. Put a black object next to you when you're doing a lot of computer work, because it will help absorb that radiation away from you. If you have some obsidian or just a black object painted black, put it near you when you're working a lot on a computer, or near electromagnetic radiation, or electromagnetic pollution now we've come to understand it as, and that will absorb that away from you. So the black serpent is called the destroyer. And is a masculine feeling entity, and the white serpent is purity, and that has a more feminine, childlike energy to it. And the reason why white is purity, and some people see it as a race thing. No, it's just metaphysical science. That's That's all it is, where things that are black absorb radiation and absorb heat, things that are white reject it and repel it. And that's just basic science. So no rainbow can exist without a shadow, meaning the light and dark. A rainbow can never stand alone without light and dark. It needs light and dark to pop it up. And so the black pearl, one of the black pearl stories that's come out is about the 7 serpents who created the world. One or two, the black and the white, one had gone dormant and went to sleep. And there's 7 serpents, 3 masculine, 3 feminine, and the central one, which was in the desert in the centre, as a androgynous serpent, which means neither male nor female. And so 7 serpents around this continent. The centre one is androgynous, hence the balance between 3 that were masculine, 3 that was feminine, and 1 that was neither or both. Now when the 7 serpents had created all these things out of energetic vibration, different frequencies, matter would come from sound. Matter just doesn't appear, or it just is. It's actually sound vibration is heavily condensed. There's some matter, like us, we're heavily condensed sound vibration. Where you touch something else, like water's less dense sound vibration. So it's all about frequency, vibration, what levels are we vibrating at, what density are we vibrating at. And so the 7 serpents who have negative and positive attributes or perspectives of themselves created this world for what it is in the physical, the animals, the plants, and the rocks, the trees, everything, even the atmosphere. And once the world was completed and gestated, because the world did go through its own evolution, but we weren't here for it. We were brought in after the evolution and placed upon the world. So the 7 serpents, once they finished creating, they invited their father down, who was a Pleiadian king named Biami. Biami had come down to the earth. The Japanese were very close.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They didn't know, like this close, and like there's heaps of room in the bush, and they all following you like this. And it was hard. I got to put up my hand to point something like that. So it's funny, those social dynamics.
Yes.
Like space.
Personal space. Yeah. They live in a very clumped city.
Yeah, and I hear that some people can be a little bit daunted in the open space, like too open, or not enough restriction for them.
Yeah. Right. So the King
Biami
from the Pleiadians.
Biami.
B-I-A-M-I.
Like B-M-I or B-I-M-I.
B-I-A-M-I. Biami. From the Pleiades.
Pleiadian. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us about him.
Oh, well, after the 7 serpents had finished the creation of the planet and the gestation, because the trees, the plants, the water, the clouds and the sky all had to evolve to a point of consciousness. Without the trees being conscious, the plants, the animals and nature having consciousness, then we wouldn't have it on the earth.
Okay.
So we are the epitome of the world. We are the epitome of the animal world and the plant world and the world as a whole.
So they set the foundation for our
consciousness, yeah.
For our consciousness.
Yes.
But that we needed that first.
Yeah.
Before we could.
So consciousness had evolved to become a higher energetic force. Like how birth is now, with your average day-to-day birth of a woman having a child, where it's just physical, cellular, coupling, doubling, exponential, and then there's a point where the energy is enough to become a conscious force. which becomes the first thought of the human mind inside the gestation process. So the world went through that same gestation. So where the animal world had to become conscious of itself before humans were allowed to have their time here to occupy or to live on the world. So in our story, it was a red kangaroo, a female, that was the first animal in our dreaming story here that understood itself as a physical and spiritual being. When she had a drink of water one day, she saw her reflection and she realized that's me. But not just the physical side of me, there's another me inside that she understood. Pardon me. And from that time on, that's when the serpents of the earth sent a message to Pleiades to invite another tribe called Sky Father as well to come down because the world had now been ready to be inhabited by humans. Well, firstly, the songs had to be completed. So because the earth was gestated and was conscious and self-aware, the whole planet as a whole was self-aware of its own reality and its own spirituality, then Biami got the signal from his children to come. And when he arrived here on the earth, not just on the earth, but actually in the Yarra Valley is where this event was meant to occur according to the Black Pearl. So between the 7 serpents and the Sky Father Biami, or our Creator, they had manifested a woman out of the earth that was made out of rainbow obsidian. And she was the epitome of a woman. And when they manifested her out of the core of the earth, Biami had levitated her above the ground, and then when they placed her back onto the earth, she was in a ley line junction, like a huge centre for ley lines. And the moment her feet touched the ground, all the creatures of the world, the plants, even the rivers, which are living spiritual entities, all gave a piece of themselves to go through the ley lines, which is the energy grids of the world, to go directly into the mother, which was this rainbow obsidian woman. So all creatures donated a little bit of themselves instantaneously through the ley lines to go into her, and her body and her spirit glowed with every spirit of the earth inside her, or a piece of every spirit of the earth inside her.
Beautiful.
And that's how we know her to be the mother. That's how she's the mother. It's not just because she nurtures us by providing us plants and animals.
Yes.
That's a 3D way of thinking. This is more of a way back metaphysical thing where she actually is our mother through her body and spirit, and through his body and spirit come together to create the symphony, which is the human spiritual world that we all have been brought out of in the past. And
So when you say rainbow obsidian, what's that?
it's a black stone, like obsidian, the rock, the crystal.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that if people could do the DNA or genealogy of crystals, it would all lead back to obsidian as the mother of all the crystals.
Oh, interesting.
So and this is where it gets a bit interesting to do with the 13 crystal beings who were born on the earth. People see the crystal beings as being celestial, but they're only half right. Because the father was celestial. The father of the crystal beings is celestial.
And that's King Biami.
Biami, yeah,
Yes.
as people say, the Sky Father.
Yes.
But Biami had, with the Rainbow Obsidian Woman, co-created 13 children on the earth, and they all had various types of crystals as their skeleton, and their crystal skeletons and crystal skulls, the real ones, which is, I haven't seen a real one on TV or the net or anywhere yet in the book anyway, because the real ones are very well hidden. If people turned up some of the crystal skull, it's not a real one, it's a handmade, human handmade one, not the real skulls. The real skulls were actually born and had flesh and blood over the crystal skeletons, just like us, in our same form now.
So
We haven't changed.
instead of bones, they had the crystal
Yes,
made out of crystal.
different forms of crystal. And the different forms of crystal was come, and they got their crystal from their mother, who was a rainbow Obsidian Woman.
Ah,
So
yeah.
the crystal side of them was more earthly than the flesh side of them in the creation. And people look at the crystal as being like alien crystal skulls and that. And looking out there and out there, I was looking up, and half the time the lady was like this, and I'm like, hey, what are you looking at? People just need to look around them. So don't look for the outside all the time to find a mystery, and there's so many mysteries within.
Yes.
So there was 13 crystal beings, male, female in sequence. And maybe the first one, we're not quite sure, they haven't given me that much yet. Maybe been a diamond skeleton. So that would be very interesting,
Yeah.
to see a diamond skull, like a,
Wow.
that once had flesh and blood stretched over it.
Be very sparkly.
I believe
Very.
so, yeah.
Wow.
Be a bit blingy then.
Be very blingy.
Yeah. So, and then for them crystal beings, there's a correlation between the 12 major tones of humanity. So we're a song. So the songs are made up of the masculine, the feminine, and the child. We're a three-part harmony. And the lead singer, or the main voice in the song, is meant to be the inner child, not the masculine or the feminine, but the inner child, which is neutral. And all children are to be treated as neutral, not as man or woman.
Right.
And that's in our culture. All kids are treated the same under the age of 7 or 8. There's nothing sexual,
Okay.
like taught to them, like you boy or you girl, or it's burai, which means all kids.
Oh.
All children were treated, and then at the age of 9, 8, they start to slowly be taught the process of being a male or female, which is just
Okay.
biological teachings.
Yes.
But before that, they've had the roots of their spiritual beginning have been in an equalness without segregation. No segregation between the sexes.
Okay. Wow. So the 13 beings. What? Can you tell me more about the 13 crystal beings?
Yeah. Well, the first one contained every song of the human spirit in his presence and being. Then the second born was given a certain frequency to be contained within them, and then the third, another set of frequencies which come through the first. Because it was all put into him. And the reason why it was a male first, because the first humanoid was female, the mother. She was
Yes.
the first humanoid earth created being. So the mother existed before that, and the masculine side come from out there. From Biami, a great skyfather from Pleiadian.
Okay.
So there's a male, female, and the sequence down to 13.
Okay.
But the first one sort of needs to be taken away from the picture a little bit, because that's special knowledge and technology. So we focus on the remaining 12.
Right.
And in the remaining 12 is the 7 major tones of frequency, like the musical notes. And there was 5 semitones allotted for future populations to be born on the earth. And we believe at first there was 7 major spiritual forms of humans, which means humans can be categorized. People think they're free, floating, free entity beings that have a disconnect from the universe. But they don't. Everyone is part of the great song. Universe, many songs.
Yes.
Or one song.
Yes.
Uni and many. Uni means many and one in one word, isn't it?
Yeah.
The universe is many songs that make the one song. So it's the 12 crystal beings. We'll leave the firstborn aside because his technology is probably not to be spoken of too much yet.
Okay.
But the other 12 were 7 that had the 7 major tones, the same as a rainbow, like red at the base, red, orange, up to violet at the top. And it's just like our chakra bodies, we all have a chakra body that dictates the same principle. But also in us is the semitones as well, these other little areas that sit between to make 12. And our core, our inner child is the 13th or the core of that 12. So our inner child is meant to be the choreographer and the conductor of the other 12 frequencies within us. Because we are all epitomes or little fractals of the creation. So we don't just have 7 chakra points, there's 12.
Yes. Yes.
So the songs. Some chords and notes don't go together.
Yep.
And it's the same with some bloodlines, that some blood is not meant to be mixed together.
Right.
And here we had a system, and up north they still have it, but it hasn't been practiced by the young people, is that marriage is by vibration, not by family name or anything like that. If your 2 frequencies weren't in match, the old people say, no, you're not allowed to get married. And people find that to be like totalitarian or dictatorship. But what that was is preventing future trauma through that bloodline.
Right.
Because people were born that no one wanted to care for because it was born out of like sexual want instead of spiritual needs.
Okay.
To keep a bloodline strong and safe from being influenced by the darkness or by the dark forces.
Okay.
So we're bred in a way to keep the strongest form of human, the strongest form of spirituality intact. So they do things like they wouldn't mix a red person with a green person. Red people were more married into like blue people than green people. Not green people, blue people and yellow people and orange people.